Good evening, Speedway fans and Pool Pirates fans from around the globe. Welcome to PirateCast, and we're both looking a little bit flushed. They say that
I've got a healthy glow.
Yeah, healthy glow. Like you could say, like they always say that the three most stressful things in life is getting married, having a child, and moving house. But what they don't include is Ben's MacBook doing an update like 15 minutes before the show starts.
And then it said 3 minutes remaining and it just stayed there for like 15 minutes. I was like,
so yeah, mental. That was not fun.
I had my phone ready as contingency, which is not ideal because I can't see any of the comments or anything like that. So
that's good. That's good. But the important thing is, even though we're about, I'm a bit of a stickler for perfection. We're about 30 seconds late on air, but it could be worse. It could be worse.
It could be a lot worse.
We're here. That's the main thing. We have got lots of great people already in the chat room this evening, ready for a great show. Chris Howler actually said hello to us a couple of days ago, I believe. So
really?
Hello is in the chat room. Sammy's in there. Betty Lou's in there. Clive Tyres, Pink Tuck, Darren Baker, Craigie Hell, Damage Pain, Pink Tuck, Mandy, Hazel, Colin Marion Jones is in there as well. I've got some great people tuning in tonight. It's going to be a good one. We're sort of completing the set this week of the Pirates Reserves, aren't we? We had Nathan Ablett on last time, and we've got some more news about Nathan coming up in just a moment. But we've got DREW KEMP coming up a little bit later on as well, and that explains your headband, Ben.
Absolutely, yeah. And massive thanks to one of Drew's sponsors and media guy, Barry, for sending me what I thought was going to be one magazine, but we've actually got a whole box of DREW KEMP swag. So pretty on the ball, and I'll probably be showing some of that stuff during the interview with Drew because it's extremely impressive. And I haven't properly spoken to Lee about this because of the last minute rush with my IT issues. But we're primed for a giveaway.
Wow. Okay. Well, we'll make that happen. Definitely. We'll get that sorted.
I am keeping this though because I have started running, and I have a glow now. I haven't run this afternoon. I'm just live from Betty Swallock's Towers. It's absolutely roasted in here tonight. So I'm keeping this one, but we have a T-shirt as well. Some of the 118 magazines, which are fantastic read, and a couple of other items. So yeah, looking forward to it. Just before we crack on. I did promise my son. I got an early Father's Day gift from my son Sam today, and I promised I'd show it on here. He has hand built a Lego set.
Oh wow! And that's going to be Dudders Jr. in the chat. Let's try and make you nice and big, Ben.
Okay, so it's there's dramatic license on this, but can you tell what it is? I can't hear you, Lee. You've cut yourself out. You've actually taken yourself off the stream.
Well, there we go. You had a bit of a zoom in there. No, go on. Fill me in.
Okay, so this is me.
Right.
This is you.
Okay.
We're in our Ghostbusters uniforms because we're huge Ghostbusters fans. There's a skull and crossbones. You have your Asgardian uniform. Oh, it doesn't come out here. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got it.
To change into, hence the reason there's no head on it, because it will be your head on there.
Nice.
With a proton pack. I've just snapped that off. Oh no. And then I have my idly doing a PirateCast live. I mean, there is dramatic license. This isn't how it looks, but I thought that was really wicked.
That is awesome. And I believe Dudders Jr. in the chat room is
correct. It's either Dudders Jr. or Dudders 2.0. So he's been very kind to you. He's not used Relax Fit Thor. He's used actual Thor.
Yeah, I mean, I did get. I was known as that for a little while at work, Fat Thor. Because why not? The beard and the long hair and the.
But yeah, that's us tonight, mate. So in our
Ghostbusters
outfits with an Iron Man and a Thor costume. Oh, and there's a Back to the Future hoverboard as well on my side of the desk. So thank you, mate. Very thoughtful. Awesome to have our Lego likenesses.
Brilliant stuff. Let's just run through some of our socials. If you're watching us right now, you're watching us on youtube.com/PirateCast Live. Make sure if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you get in there and subscribe. Click the like button as well. It really helps us out with the discoverability on YouTube. You can also get there by going to www.piratecast.live. Take you straight to the YouTube channel. Check us out on Facebook. We are facebook.com/ThePirateCast. And on Twitter, we are @PirateCast. Make sure you head on over if you you have got any money left after spending your money on some Drew Kemp merchandise, which we'll be talking about a bit later on, you can head over to shop.piratecast live. Couple of designs over there with PirateCast t-shirts. And as we always say, don't buy it now. Wait till they've got a sale on. Okay, they do them pretty regularly. Wait till they've got a sale on, and you can get it for a little bit cheaper.
There was a flash 40 up to 40% off sale that I actually didn't realize was on, and I should have posted a link. So
okay,
I'm amazed you're in polo shirts, and I've gone t-shirt because it's so roasting.
It's really hot, isn't it? I wanted to keep my balcony door open, but there's so much like birds and squirrels doing each other and all sorts.
Live
happening.
Squirrel attack would be amazing.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie.
It'd be like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
It'd just be brilliant.
We don't want that to happen. So yeah, I've shut the door and I'm paying for it right now, but I've got the water on the go. We're all good. Before we get into Drew's patiently waiting in our green room at the moment. There's a fly. Bye then. We've got some news around Nathan Ablett. We obviously had Nathan on our last show. We actually got coverage in the Bournemouth Echo. Our interview extracts from ended up in the Bournemouth Echo, which is pretty
good. I mean, you took the positives from it. I am very flattered, but A, we weren't approached, and B, it's quite frankly lazy journalism. But you know, it's publicity, and they posted a link to the YouTube page, so it wasn't all bad. We got about 5 or 6 new subs off of that. So if we're getting out to a wider audience, then I suppose we'll forgive them.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. And so some other Nathan Ablett news, which obviously you've had a bit of involvement in. We haven't really had a lot of chance to touch base on this, but only a few minutes. We got this finalised before the show. But do you want to talk to us about what's happening with PirateCast and Nathan?
Yeah. So thanks to our kind benefactor who backs the show and helps us out massively with sponsorship during the season. He suggested that we offer Nathan. I was going to say Drew then. Offer Nathan some sponsorship to help him out through the season. Yeah. Now, being on PirateCast isn't a guarantee of sponsorship. I must draw that caveat. But obviously, Nathan made a huge impact. He's just starting out really in the championship this season, and needs all the help he can get. So we went forward with some sponsorship for Nathan, and we were trying to figure out what he needed. Any kit or anything, and at the moment there was no items he needed to get. It was existing stuff. So what's been agreed is we are supporting Nathan. Sorry, I did it again. We're supporting Nathan. He's been invited to race in the under-19 Europeans next month in Slovakia. So the sponsorship money's going towards that to help him out for the season, but predominantly for that trip. So we'll be supporting him in the under-19s meeting.
Fantastic. That's great. And we try and do what we can. There's we're by no means huge on finances or anything like that. Best way you can support the riders is the ref fund, isn't it, down at the track?
Absolutely.
They will always step in and help riders who are in need. So we've kind of as PirateCast done this as a group to try and help Nathan. He's a little bit down on his luck over the last few weeks. And we've done that. But again, if you want to offer your own back, help out the riders, the ref fund is the way to go. So certainly get in touch with those guys and make some small donations. Every little helps, as a great supermarket used to say. I'm sure the riders will appreciate everything you can give.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure to help, and I've just been blown away with how humble Nathan is and just how thankful he has been throughout the process, to the extent that I think he was almost worried about, I had to chase him to say, where do we need to send the sponsorship to? When would you like the sponsorship? So closing minutes just before my update started, funnily enough, and everything was signed off and dotted, and the money's been sent over to Nathan to help him out in the under-19. So fingers crossed, and can watch his space. So really pleased.
Good times. Okay, so with that, shall we move on? Drew's waiting very patiently in our green room. Do you think it's about time we bring Drew on?
Absolutely.
And, have a bit of a chat with him. Anyone who's in the chat room at the moment watching us live, if you can think of some questions, anything you've always wanted to ask Drew, we can bring in some of those questions live to Drew on the show. So bear with me a second and I'll bring Drew in. There we go. There is Drew. And I've just got to work out which is the best. There, that one. That's the best one. There we go.
The one.
That's the one. There we go. Drew, how you doing, my friend?
Sure. Looking forward to it. I'll hopefully I can answer a few questions if anyone has some, and not make myself sound too stupid. So we'll go from there.
Fantastic. I mean, one of the things I'd like to lead off on, Drew, and we've had a few people since the start of the season come on the show, and Midlow, Danny King, Nathan, even Scotty Mitchell has come on the show. Former world darts champion. One thing I've got to say is you have given us so much great promotion, and the people behind your, let's just say your marketing people, the people who do all your branding and social media and all of that, absolutely second to none. There have been graphics advertising you coming on, which we haven't done, you guys have done, which has been absolutely fantastic. How does that all work? I mean, you're relatively early in your career and you've got this sort of marketing machine behind you. What's that all about?
Yeah, obviously, I'm pretty lucky with all the promotion that I have through my sponsor Barry Cross. It was a little bit weird, really. It all started sort of back 2018, and when I started it originally, I didn't really think it would get to the extent of what it is now. We just, the first year we had a book, the year after, calendars, and it just kept progressing and progressing and progressing, and those things that we have before the meetings. Is good for the fans. I'm not saying people probably care about where I'm racing, but it shows where I am racing, and people can really sort of get involved and just see where I am for the day. So, as I said, I'm lucky. It's better than most. You look at some of the Grand Prix riders; none of them have that. So,
I was going to say exactly the same thing. You've got Grand Prix riders who don't even have a website or anything like that, and you've got this kind of, really great, vehicle kind of pushing everything forward. It's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, really good.
It is, yeah. Like I said, it's just lucky for it, and I'm grateful for it. So it's definitely nice to have that in my corner.
Now, obviously, Drew, the sort of stuff that I got was very unexpected through just the volume of it and the quality of it. How much input do you have in what you want to be able to provide the fans and prospective sponsors? I appreciate you want to focus on your racing. Is the team behind you coming up with a lot of the ideas? For example, this was brilliant. The Diary of a Speedway Kid. It's like the diary of your first whole season.
Yeah.
In Speedway, and it's really good. And I got to say, obviously, it should encourage youngsters to get into the sport, but obviously, it does cover also some of the negatives and some of the stuff you've got to get over as a rider in your early career. Yeah.
Well, that's the whole point of it. It's meant to show. Effectively, it's a diary of what happened in 2018. I sort of burst onto the scene as a 15-year-old, and I was doing really, really well. I went from reserve to a number one in the National League, and it was nice to document that in a book. But yeah, I do have an input, but at the end of the day, I'm the rider. There's a reason why I ride the bike and not everything else. So it is my input, of course, but I usually let Barry or the people that know best do what they need to do, and I just go along with it, to be honest.
Yeah, brilliant. And just like I said, I'd show you some of the stuff I had already. So DREW KEMP, the story so far, and it's done as like a comic book art, which I really loved. And it's just very, very simple about the story so far. And I that one's sort of aimed at younger fans. And then I think your two sponsorship brochures are amazing. You've actually put tiers of sponsorship within there for the season to help you out. And there are established riders in the Championship and Premiership, and potentially GP riders that don't even have this. And I just got to commend you, mate. It's obviously great having such a sponsor behind you. But yeah, just hats off to you, mate. Absolutely professional. And I'm assuming you're seeing the benefits of that as well.
I am, yeah, but it's still difficult, especially with what's happening in the world at the minute. Well, it's not so bad now, obviously, but the last 2 years it's been pretty difficult, trying to get hold of people, and me being away from my local team now, it's difficult to approach people in Ipswich wanting to sponsor me and Paul because they're not going to get any benefit from it. But that's why we brought out that Paul one. It's been nice to get some local sponsors and to advertise some local companies around the I don't know, is it a town? I suppose it is a town.
Yeah, we're a town. Yeah.
So it'd be nice to do that, but keep on trying, and that's what it's there for. So
and I believe you've just got a local sponsor on board as well, Bournemouth Betting Centre. Is that correct? Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, that was pretty unexpected as well. Obviously, I had I think it was against Newcastle. I was in the bar after the meeting doing that press conference, and randomly out of the blue said to me that he wanted to sponsor me. So it's always nice when you get them, and they're the sort of people that you need to look after because they're there hopefully for the long run.
And I tell you what, Drew, Bournemouth Betting Centre, he doesn't sponsor any rider. He won't, he's very selective with his sponsorship, but he will stick with you. I just hark back to Javi. He sponsored Javi for the whole time of his career and after he left Poole. So obviously what's happening is working for you, and hopefully you get even more because I'm assuming every penny counts during your season.
Yeah, I hope so. And I think people look at my bikes and think that I have all the help in the world, but actually I have, probably the least amount of help as possible. I have some great sponsors, don't get me wrong, but I don't get as many as what people think. So yeah, it's nice to have ones like Dave helping me out, and like you said, he's helped Javi for the whole of his career. So I'm hoping that he'll help me throughout all of mine. My long one, I hope.
Well, absolutely, yeah, and that's the benefit that you've got, being so young into your career, and if you get a sponsor for life now, not just through your pool career, but as you move up and potentially into world championship contention, things like that, and sponsors that can stay with you for a long time. That's absolutely amazing. We'll talk a little bit more about the stuff you've got available. Shop118.co.uk is where you can get all your Drew Kemp merchandise. Drew's official website, drewkempracing.co.uk. Talk to us a little bit about the magazine. I know, Ben, you've got some of the copies.
I've got all of them. I was sent all of them. I was expecting the latest edition, but I've got all of them. And that I want to be as prepared. I know it doesn't look like it if you watch back the old shows, and you think we're not. It does look like we're not prepared. But I do my homework, and obviously I got sent a lot of homework on Saturday. But yeah, the 118 magazine's fantastic. I just want to check though, schedule wise, how many do you sort of look to, or does Barry look to get out a season? Is it 2, 3?
I'm not really too sure, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Again, I just sort of go along the flow. I think that one come out a little bit later than what was originally planned because I'm busy a lot of the time, and it's difficult trying to sort of find the time to answer the questions and to have a look at what I have done. But I suppose we try and do them, 2 or 3 times a year, maybe, one at the start of the year, one at the end, and 1 or 2 during the season. It's obviously good to keep up with that sort of stuff, and again to look back at. I think that one's in April, and we're in June now. So I look back at effectively the start of my career with Paul, which is obviously good. So yeah, I suppose I'd put them a bit like that book. It's just rather than for the whole season, it's a couple months in or whatever.
Yeah, and I think sorry, Lee. I think the cover price is £3 if I'm correct. Obviously, it's not marked on the magazine, but it's £3. I know you have them in the Wolves track shop, and I understand you're trying to get them in the Pool track shop as well. Yeah,
that's the plan. I haven't actually spoken to Danny yet, but I'll speak to him Wednesday maybe, and see how that goes. But £3 is definitely cheaper than a Speedway Star. I mean, I think the other week when I was on the front cover of the Speedway Star, I was amazed at how much it actually costs. So it's nice to have a magazine that is, don't want to say it, probably better than a Speedway Star. And all about me. If you want to read about me, then it's definitely worth it.
What I really like as well is the fun takes as well. So like the different types of Q&A, harking back to old magazines and different magazines. So like celebrity questionnaires and stuff like that. I highly recommend it. It's good value for money.
Yeah, it is. Speedway these days it can be too serious, I think. So
yeah,
nice to have a joke and to answer questions people might be intrigued to know, and might be, it's a different question no one necessarily would know about me. So as I said, it's definitely worth the purchase, I think. And I don't know if it's out yet, but I think Barry was on about sort of doing a deal for all 5. So, it's definitely something to look out for if you haven't had any yet or have missed a couple. So, have a look at my store and get merch like this,
Yeah.
British champion shirts. So.
And you change, and I see you shake up the designs of the t-shirts as well. You try and stick to your red and gold, but there was a recent one for a new sponsor, wasn't there, that came on board, and you're always open to new ideas and trying different stuff. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. There's no point being the same, and sometimes it's nice to go away and have different designs, which is what I've got. I think I've definitely got 3 different t-shirts designs, and that 4th one is obviously a purple one, so a little bit different to what my usual colors, but yeah, it's like I said, again, it's worth a look, and hopefully there'll be some more stuff in there and in the future.
Ben, we talked a minute ago about not taking things too seriously. So I'm going to lead off with the first fan question here, which is an interesting one. And Drew, you should see it on the screen. Pink Tuck says, a bit like Snog, Marry, Avoid game, name your 3 riders to beat, partner with, or avoid. So we'll leave that one up on the screen so you can have a bit of a think about that. So a rider that you really enjoy beating, a rider that you'd absolutely love to partner with or get a 5-1 with, and another rider you just don't want to be on the same track with, I guess, is the way to look at it.
Or that, I don't know that that's going to get an answer unless you're up for it.
The question is it in the pool team or is it a mini team?
I guess it could be anything. We'll leave it up to you.
All right. Well, I might think of the pool team and see what I'd like to beat out of that. So, well, I'll have a think and let you know.
Okay, good stuff. Ben, there's another one that next one that you should probably bring up here. I'll let you read this one out.
Yeah, my darling wife, thank you for the support. Who or what inspired you to become a speedway rider? Now, I've read how that sort of transpired, but if you want to tell the folks watching, what was your story? Because you started off on smaller sort of scramble bikes.
Yeah, well, originally I was a motocross rider. You know, I've been riding a motorbike since the age of 4. First race when I was 6. So it's something I've been doing my whole life and riding motocross. And I was a British Championship level motocross rider up to the age of 13. And one day I just thought I'd give Speedway a go. And I didn't actually anticipate doing Speedway full time after that. It was just something to have a go at. And I just loved it from day one. It was something, as soon as I did it, you know, I come home and it was actually at Iwade I rode, where Kent are riding at the minute. So, I went home and said that's what I want to do. And I'd already committed to another year doing national motocross in 2015. So once that year was up, I went straight to Speedway and sort of never looked back from there.
Amazing.
And so what inspired me? Nothing as such. Nothing really inspired me. I just, again, like I said, I've ridden motorbikes all my life, so it was another thing to enjoy. And we're where I am now.
I know part of the 118 magazines, you had to pick your sort of magnificent 7, as you put it. And you weren't too shy in putting yourself forward in that team as well, which I really liked. But obviously you started watching Speedway locally in Ipswich, and I noticed that obviously Mark Loram, Tony Rickardson and Thomas Golub featured heavily in that. There was a couple of surprising riders as well that people might not think about. Do you want to just explain maybe some of the others that you sort of take inspiration from?
I can't even remember who I even put. If I'm really honest. I mean, I think I put Bruce Penhall, didn't I?
Yeah,
Bruce
Penhall. Yeah. And then there was another rider who apparently your style is very, very similar to.
I don't even know I can't even remember who I put, to be honest.
I can't remember which magazine it's in now. I thought you were going to be able to answer.
Second one.
I can't remember. It was an Eastern European rider. I can't find the magazine. Okay, but yeah, like I say, I was surprised about Bruce Penhall as well, because he was very limited in his career, but he got his fans over. So, again, can't rate it enough. Get 118 magazine, and if you can't get it at the track shop, you can get it from Drew's website.
Absolutely. Shop118.co.uk. Get that from there. We've got a lot of questions coming in. Let's move on to Chris Howlett. Drew, what started you off liking the bucket hats?
Yeah, again, it's a weird one. I mean, for me, I'm really superstitious. So I think I'm not sure why I had a DREW KEMP bucket hat, but I did. And when I won my second under-19 British Championship, I was wearing my bucket hat that night, the same one that I still wear. Sometimes, obviously, I have my pool one, which I wear for pool, but other tracks or other teams, I have my DREW KEMP one, and I won with that hat. So it was there to stay, to be honest. And didn't think it would get to the point where it is now, when everyone's wanting bucket hats. But yeah, it's nice for people to want that, and yeah, it's, like I said, it just come around.
And just building on that, you said obviously you have your colours, the red, gold, and white. Was that something that just naturally happened over the course between, were those your colours when you were doing motocross as well?
No.
Okay.
So when I was racing motocross, I was always orange and blue, and I always used to ride a KTM, which the bike was orange. And I used to have blue graphics, and don't ask me why, but at that time I didn't really have an input on what the bike looked like. I just got on it and went from there. So when I first got a speedway bike, the mudguards were red, and I think they were definitely red. And Granddad basically didn't want to change them, so I just stuck with the red. But I look at all the other colours now, and a lot of people have black or whatever, but it looks a bit boring. So it's nice to stand out a little bit, stand out from the crowd, and yeah, it definitely looks good, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agreed. From Speedway Portal, good guys down at the track, and for Speedway in general. Drew's a good egg both on and off the track, with his family by his side throughout. Big shout out to his dad and his granddad, James. How much does it mean to Drew to have that support from his family?
It means a lot, obviously. I definitely wouldn't be where I am now without that support through the years. And like I said, from the age of 4 when I first started, to 19 where I am now, they've always been by my side. And we've had some tough times mentally, especially the last few years, and they've stuck by me and helped me out where I needed it. And I haven't got a lot of money, so they've definitely helped me out with that in the past and helped me with my bikes. So my dad still helps me, but Dad's still mechanics for me sometimes. And yeah, it's really important for me to have them by my side. And like I said, I certainly wouldn't be, at the point where I am now without them. So yeah, it's nice for them to help me still, and hopefully it's something that they'll do for the rest of my career.
Brilliant. Absolutely. So we've got another one. They're coming thick and fast now. Interesting question. And there's no wrong answer here. Midlow's a good friend of the show and can take a bit of pain. What inspiration do you get from the different managers you're riding for this season? Is it the first season you've had where you've got 2 team managers, for different sections of the country meetings?
Yeah, it's definitely the first season I've had 2 different team managers, but no, it's good. It's really good. It's nice to see what they do different from each other. Obviously, Javi's won titles himself, and Midlow's won certainly many championships with Paul. So I can't really say what inspiration I take off them, because they both work in 2 different ways, and they're both pretty straight to the point. They won't sort of sugarcoat it a little bit. They'll definitely tell you if you're not doing so well. So that is good. Yeah, I just try and listen to them as much as possible, and especially someone like Javi, who has reached the pinnacle of the sport. As when you see him walking down the street or even at the track, you wouldn't think that he was a world champion in his sport, but he was. You can't take that away from him, and yeah, he's certainly someone that I look up to.
Amazing. Next, I'm going to tie together a couple of questions here. First of all, Damaged Pain. Hey, D, how are you doing mindset-wise after us versus Edinburgh? And then tying into that as well, Clive ties, Drew, are you 100% fully fit at the moment? So I think it was the Edinburgh match where you had that big sort of off on the between the first and second bend. From our position, I know Ben's spoken to you separately about this. It looked as though we instantly said it's going to be a collarbone, because you locked up and appeared to just face plant straight into the ground, and it looked extremely scary, and to see you getting up and walking away from that was a hell of a relief. So again, the 2 parts to that question. Number 1, are you fully fit? Number 2, how's it kind of affected you since then?
It's definitely hurt the bank account more than it's hurt me. I bent a bike from it, but they can be fixed. So I was pretty lucky to get away with what happened. It was a strange crash. I definitely didn't see it coming, but I'm fine. Obviously, last week, I don't really know what happened last week. I had a few problems with the bike, maybe a little bit of a mental issue, but I didn't sort of feel that. So definitely fully fit. Obviously, I rode 2 days after that. I've still got a few sort of grazes on my hands there, but they're nothing now. You can't tell anything about them. So 100% fully fit now, and hopefully we can sort of get back to winning ways again, because it's not been so good at the minute. But
absolutely, it sort of happened at a time where you were sort of coming into some form at the pool track, because I know that when we sort of came on board, you were a bit. You said I haven't got a lot of experience around pool, but I know you lit up the track when visiting for Edinburgh at the end of last season. I was like, blimey, I took note, and clearly the promotion did. But I'll ask a question from the viewer. But how are you finding the pool track? I know it was tricky last week initially, because we'd had so much heavy rain in a short period of time, and the guys were trying to pack it down. But did the sort of early on seem to catch everyone out really on our team?
Yeah, it was weird last week. Obviously, they've got that new shale down, and to me, it doesn't seem to have bedded in a little bit at the minute. It's still sitting on top. So the track is actually quite where it dries out, rather than at the start of the year where there was a lot of moisture in the air and the dirt was there. It's pretty sandy now, so when you go from the slick to the dirt, it's like hitting a beach almost. So obviously, I'm enjoying the track. It's somewhere that I really, really like, and somewhere that I really enjoy. Suits my style because it's a quick track, but also you have to turn it a little bit. It's not as easy as what it looks like, maybe to some of the people watching. But I feel a bit bad because I feel like I haven't won a race around there in ages. But no, it's that they're the 2 meetings that have gone now, and time to get my form back up around there. Time to make some starts, which is the difference really. Obviously, I was making some good starts at the start of the year, wasn't I? And even last year, but changed a few things. So hopefully we'll be well away next time we get there.
Sounds positive. All good. Alicia Bowers says, hi, I am late to the party, but Drew, what would be your highlight of the season so far? I know technically we're sort of quite early on in the season, but we're kind of not. Have you got any highlights?
Yeah, that's a difficult one, because to me personally, I don't really look at a highlight of the season until the end of the season. But I'd probably say the meeting home against Oxford. That was a good meeting for me. Unfortunately, I had that slight chain issue in Heat 8, didn't I? But apart from that, I was unbeaten from an opponent. So yeah, it's be nice to have another night like that again soon, and hopefully
it'll come.
Yeah.
I've no doubt of that.
Next question here comes from Scott Mitchell. He says, "Who's your favourite darts player?"
That's a tough one. That I don't know many darts players. So
I think Danny King plays darts, doesn't he? Maybe.
Oh, does he? I'm trying to think who the famous darts player is. I remember.
Wow.
No, I'm joking. I'll say Scott. I'll say Scott. I'm assuming he's quite good still, so I like anyone that wins at something.
Good stuff.
Just on that, before Sammy's question, what sports do you like outside of Speedway? I'm assuming all motorsports are pretty much a given. Are there any other sports that you cannot miss when you're not riding?
It's not stuff that I can't miss, but I enjoy cycling myself, and I enjoy watching that and running. I suppose although it's probably not a nice sport, it's something that I enjoy to do.
I'm glad you enjoy it. I hate it.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
I enjoy them, and obviously motocross, which I was brought up doing. So anything that I said motorsport related, and running, cycling, stuff like that.
Brilliant.
Amazing. Getting back to Sammy's question, what's your favourite Speedway track and why? Obviously, you've far from ridden all of them, but so far, what would you say your favourite track is?
It's got to be Rybnik or somewhere in Poland. I didn't do many Division 1 league matches last year for Gdansk, but Rybnik was definitely one of them that I went to, and the size and the whole it's different to England because it's sort of built up around the track in Poland. You go out and the fans are sort of looking down at you, which is pretty amazing to look. So when you're coming down the straight, you can sort of really grasp the fact of the fans watching you, and all eyes on you effectively. So it's a nice big track, nice smooth, and it's not grippy. It's complete. When you go to a foreign track, the surface is completely different to what you have in Poole.
Yeah.
You go to a track in Poland, and the track is the same from the inside to the outside. Where you go to Poole, the track is darker on the outside than it is on the inside. So they're certainly different, those tracks out there. But I'd probably say Ribnick because it's big and fast and a nice surface.
And do you have one in the UK that you? Oh, right, okay, and Poole.
Yeah, well,
Gotta say that.
I do like Poole. I've got a few, obviously, over here. I suppose Red Card. What I say is any track that I can go well on. So any of them.
Craig, interesting question. Were you expecting the call to ride for Poole, and did you actually have to take long to think about it?
No, I didn't. Well, it's not I didn't expect it from Poole, but I definitely expected myself to be at Edinburgh, like I was at the end of last year. Obviously, I ended up doing quite well for Edinburgh, and I did enjoy it there. And I'm not going to lie, I that's where I originally wanted to be. Even at the end of the year at Poole, I said to Edinburgh, "You're my first choice," which I feel quite bad for saying now because they probably planned their team around me a little bit. But when Matt rang me up, I definitely didn't have to think about it long at all. When I actually ended up messaging him when Eastbourne went wrong, and I actually ended up messaging him saying, I'm available if you got any team spot. He didn't reply to me. He ignored that message, but he definitely, when he rang me up at the start of the year, it definitely didn't take long to accept the offer and be a Pirate.
Amazing, great stuff. Let's see, what else have we got? Chris Howlett says, does it help you having Steve Worrell in both of your teams?
It does, yeah. Especially I got his super mechanic helping me out. Old Neil. It is nice having Steve in both teams, and I really got to know him this year, and I have spent a bit of time with him in the past. Not as much as obviously I have this year, and he's really experienced in his team, and he's having such a good year this year. He's definitely someone I can take notes off. And like I said, I spent a lot of time with him and Neil, his mechanic, and even Chrissa. So they've definitely helped me out this year. And when times have been tough, they've definitely helped me out and made me feel a lot better.
Amazing.
And I'm guessing you've also got sort of the relationship with Danny as well from Ipswich last season. Yeah,
I have, and I've said it every year since 2018. I've been in the team with Danny, so yeah, he's spent a few years with me now. And when I first started, I remember I had a practice day with him at iWade. So it's funny to see where I'm at now and to have spent so long with him as such. It's nice to finally do quite well with him in the team, because in the past it hasn't been going so well. So it's good to again, and even Richard, I haven't really been in a team with him, but I have spoke to him and spent a little bit of time with him. So it's always nice to have the experienced riders in the teams, and as I said, someone to take notes off and to really listen to.
Great, thank you. Barry's on as well. Thank you, Barry, and thank you once again for all the prep work you gave me on before the show. He thinks your top 7 might be Pennell, Laram, Ricardson, Golub, Zagar, Crump, and Major. And I think he's bang on that.
Yeah.
In his defence, it was a long time ago, July 2021, which is why I didn't have it to hand. So yeah, there you go, guys. We'll clear that up.
Zagar.
Mate Zagar,
he's
Zagar did surprise me.
Yeah, well, he's actually one of my favourite riders.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why he was one of my favourite riders, but he is. It's quite funny, really. Obviously, I was racing him at Bellevue the other night, and I had a training day with him in 2019. So, and he remembered me from then, which is quite surprising. So,
brilliant.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to race next Grand Prix ride.
Always good when that happens as well, that they remember you. So you clearly made an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I tried to. So he he told me that my wheelies were the best on the day, and I told him I haven't done many recently. So yeah, it would have been nice to have beaten him and pulled a wheelie next to him, but yeah, unfortunately, that wasn't the case this time.
Next time.
Hope so.
Okay. Next question we've got is from Alicia. Me again. Are you throwing bucket hats into the crowd again? So you've got some people wanting some freebies.
Yeah. I don't know if many people know what happened last time I chucked some hats into the crowd, but I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure whether Paul lost some fans that night, because I'm not sure they'd be returning after that. But maybe, if I get enough interest in my hats, I might be able to chuck a couple out into the crowd. But I don't know whether the orange ones are in the track shop at the minute, but I'm going to get some more done anyway, with some that aren't so bright, and I can sort something out.
I wouldn't worry about colour or style. If anything's clear, the Pool fans love a hat, as evidenced last season. I know the NID Army have got bucket hats in honour of you this season already. So yeah, I think it'll go down really well. I know Danny liked the idea as well.
Yeah, I should have put my my NID hat on. Really, I didn't think about that at the time. But yeah, next time if we do another one of these, I'll put it on.
Sounds like a plan. Let's move back to Pink Tuck's question. You've had a few minutes to let this one settle in the back of your head. So we're going to go back to Pink Tuck's Snog, Marry, Avoid game, which is naming your 3 riders. One you really want to beat, one you really want to be a partner with in a 5-1, for example, and another one that you don't want to be on the track with. What names have you got there?
I was doing it from the pool team, wasn't I think. So that narrows it down to 7. To beat, it's got to be probably Richard. Obviously, he's doing pretty well at the minute. He's probably, I expect he'll probably go to number 1. I'm not too sure on the averages, but he's certainly doing well. So if I can beat him, then I'm doing something well, aren't I?
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's really coming into his own.
Yeah, he is. Partner? Yeah. Partner. It's got to be Danny on that one, I reckon. It's nice to score a few 5-1s of him when I did this year when he was at number 5. So it's always nice to partner up with him, and like I said, because I spent so long with him, to really start doing well again. And
now we'll move on to the really controversial one.
A pirate you want to avoid riding with. That's a harsh. You've made this hard for yourself, this last bit.
Yeah, I have, haven't I?
Maybe open this up to other teams as well then for this one.
I'd say Midlow for that one. I wouldn't want to go on
Good shout. Good shout.
I've seen him riding, trust me. So he's a little bit loose. Wouldn't want to be on the outside of him, put it that way.
Brilliant. Just something that I noticed, Drew. There's a couple of questions we'll finish off with. One that I always tend to throw in, but one thing I took from your website, that there's a quote that you've put on the main page, which says, "The reason I'm in the gym at 6 a.m., the reason I eat healthily and go to bed early, the reason I practice at every opportunity is because I want to be the best. I want to be the world speedway champion, nothing else." Whilst you can tell that's come from the heart, and you've genuinely got a passion for the sport, and coming from motocross, you thought you'd give speedway a go. Is this your solo goal now, to sort of do as best as you can at speedway and get to the GPs and eventually be world speedway champion? Is that your main goal now?
It is, yeah. Obviously, like you said, everything that I do, and I go to bed and I wake up in the morning and think about being the best at it. So yeah, it's funny because I don't want to say it in a way that makes me sound cocky, but I've never sort of seen when I look at my career and I look at my potential career down the line, I've never seen it anything less than what I've wanted it to be, which might be a good thing, might be a bad thing, but I've always seen it as though I could be a Speedway World Champion. So, yeah, it is my end goal, and I definitely won't stop until I get to that point. And I think it's important to have an end goal like that personally. And when times have been tough this year, recently, and went to Sheffield the other week, and I didn't score very well. I didn't score at all. So yeah, I want it that much. Then I can push through those tough times and really keep going.
And that's part of the key in it. It's being able to dust yourself off and keep that focus. I mean, you say cockiness, it's drive. If you're a professional sports person, you need an element of that. And I notice again, on your Insta today, you're still doing some ridiculous exercises for training in balance and strength, and just the change from what Speedway was to what Speedway is now, and we're going through a slight resurgence, in my opinion. But the actual professionalism of the younger riders now. Were you doing that sort of fizz before the GB youth training camp started, or was that the one that sort of spurred you into doing it regularly?
No, fitness is always something that I've always done, because with motocross, it's not a minute. You're racing 15. Well, at my age, I was racing 15 minutes on a rough track, so you had to be fit. There was no other way about it. And with Speedway these days, it's all about the 1% and 2%. Back in the day, when people weren't training, and the people that were training, it was a massive margin. Whereas now, everyone's doing the same thing. Everyone's training. So now it's just about finding something that people aren't doing, or doing Speedway specific stuff, which is what I try to do. I've got a brilliant trainer, Kieran. He's really been helping me out, and I think that's why I've sort of almost stepped up a little bit this year, because we've been doing things that have really been helping me ride, and I don't think that is the issue, but he's been away the last few weeks, so I haven't really been able to get into the gym with him, and my scores have been dramatically dropping. So back in the gym now, and hopefully we can get the scores back up again, and keep it up.
You did say you were superstitious, to be fair.
Yeah, I will say that. It's definitely superstition now, but I enjoy it, to be honest. I mean, I if I don't enjoy something, I simply don't do it, and I do enjoy that aspect of Speedway. And it's funny, because the actual riding is the easy part. It's probably 20% of the sport. 80% of the sport is everything that you do behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Just a quick shout out to Damage Pain. He says, never worry about those Twitter moaners whilst you're representing the UK. You're an awesome sportsman, dude, and an awesome pirate. So there you go. Nice endorsement there.
Thank
Ben,
you very much.
Another question?
So final question, Drew. Thank you so much for being with us for this long. I didn't expect it to take this long, so apologies if you're waiting for dinner or anything like that. You say how driven you are. Are you able to share what your individual goals are for the rest of the season? I know you've got some individual targets that you probably want to achieve, as well as team ones.
Yeah, obviously, mainly I'd like to, for Paul, I'd certainly like to get out of reserve. I've been at reserve for a few years now, so second string, or it's not impossible to be a heat leader, but it's certainly going to be tough to be a heat leader. But yeah, definitely, number 2 or 4 would be nice for me this year, and to keep progressing from there. I was actually at number 2 in 2019 with Sheffield, and I didn't do particularly well. So it'd be nice to go into the main body of the team and score quite well, and to win a league title with Paul as well would be nice. I've never won a league title. So yeah, Paul was the sort of the perfect team to do that with.
Amazing,
And individually, sorry, Lee, individually.
That's right.
Individually, I'd like to win the under-20 British under-21s this year. I won the under-19s 3 times in the trot, so the under-21s is the next one, I suppose, on the list, and hopefully, do quite well in some of the European meetings, and I think there's the SGP2 at Cardiff. So it'd be nice to get a call up for that. And if I do quite well in that, but time will tell. That's I think it's in August. It is in August, I think. So it's a fair bit of time to worry about that yet.
Brilliant.
Excellent. Next action you've got for the Pirates, obviously, is literally 48 hours time, almost to the minute. I'll probably say we're going to be hitting Heat 2 up at Scunthorpe on Friday night there, 7:30 against the Scorpions. How are you feeling about that one?
I'm excited. I really like Scunthorpe. I've won my last 2, again, British Under-19 championships there with a maximum. So it's somewhere that I feel I can sort of turn my season around again and get back to my best. So I'm hoping for a Pirates win, and there's no reason why we can't.
Fantastic. I think you can actually watch that through the Scunthorpe website as well. If you ever watch any of the pool streams and log on and watch those online, you can log on to the Scunthorpe website, use the same details as I understand it, and pay the same amount. And you can watch the Pirates away at Scunthorpe, see DREW live in action in 48 hours time. So that'll be amazing. Best luck to the Pirates and to DREW. And thank you so much for taking the time out. It's been great. Yeah. We'll have to make it do a part 2 at some point, definitely.
Yeah, I'll be keen for that. Thank you for having me, and really enjoyed it. So cheers for all the questions, and hopefully see you all next week.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Take care, DREW. Have a good one, mate.
DREW, thanks so much, mate. Have a good evening and good luck for Friday. Cheers, mate.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
There we go. DREW KEMP. Let's switch us both around the other way. There we go. Let's do put our things back on. This always takes me ages. There we go. We've got the thing back. That was awesome, wasn't it?
That was great. I really enjoyed that. Obviously, I had a lot of homework, so I didn't quite cover it all and have everything ready to hand. But you see the preparation that comes into these things that we do, particularly when we are provided with information as well, which is most helpful.
Especially when it comes to Apple updates as well. Make sure they're done.
It's a 2011 Mac. It's a 2011 MacBook I'm using, mate. So I'm amazed it still has updates.
Yeah, true. But no, I mean, one of the things that you can't emphasize enough is the professionalism of DREW and his whole team, for lack of a better word. His website, all the stuff. How many speedway riders have their own magazine? Does Nicky Pedersen have his own magazine?
No one would buy it.
Well, yeah, true. I was just trying to illustrate someone starting out.
Wrong rider.
But someone who's multi-time world champion, who's got their own magazine.
Seriously, I got this box through the post. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I thought, it's the magazine, but this box, and I open it up and there's T-shirts, key rings, magazines, and the actual quality of them is amazing. It really is top notch, and you can just see, what's behind the scenes is starting to reflect on the track as well. And all power to him. I can see great things from him. I really can.
Yeah. It is going to happen, isn't it? And he's got some sites. We never want to see anyone drop down out of the main team and end up at reserve. But DREW is probably the Nathan is got a little way to go yet, and he's been very honest in admitting that to us and himself as well. It looks as though DREW, if is the one who's going to likely take the step up into the team. So we'll be waiting with bated breath to see if that happens and when. Shall we touch base on the league?
We can do. I mean, people on the face of it doesn't look pretty reading, but when you delve into the detail, it's not horrendous.
It's not the end of the world, is it? No, I mean, Leicester obviously at the top of the table with 41 points. However, they have ridden 15 matches. We've only ridden 11. We're at 26 points, equal with Glasgow.
Why are Glasgow above us?
They've got one more win.
Oh, they got one more win. That's why. Sorry, I was looking at the for and against. And I thought, is it going against points? But yeah, they got one more win. I
think that's how they do it. But again, 4 more matches, and we could be pretty much up there. So I think it was quite scary. I think when we had the match with Leicester, no one really looked to be firing on all cylinders.
I'll be honest, mate.
One of them.
In our first ever episode, when we reviewed the teams, obviously we mentioned the potential of Oxford, but I always mentioned Leicester. Of how well built that team is, and they got a good guest. That's the other part of it. They've had a very good guest, and that went in their favour. But yeah, that was an eye opener, and I knew it was going to be tight. I mean, when we had the discussion at the start of the meeting, I said I think it was only a 6-point victory for the Pirates, and then we'd be lucky. So yeah, it was a tough one, and all credit where Leicester, their boys wanted it badly on Wednesday. They did. You could see it.
And I don't think we were really helped, as Drew touched on, the state of the track. And it not, I say the state of the track as if we'd done something wrong to it, but it was a very wet and very dry track, if that makes any sense at all. It was totally soaked, but then was a dust bowl within about 4 heats, which is really, really weird with the amount of rain we had coming down on it.
I think it was just due to the sheer heat from the sun and the breeze that was there. It just literally dried it out. It was like a tumble dryer. Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you want to bring Mandy's comment up from 7:54?
What's that?
Comment 7:54 from Mand.
Oh right, okay. It was like Christmas.
It was like Christmas when I opened the box. There's like all sorts of stuff. There's like t-shirt. Got one of the t-shirts it was wearing.
Nice.
And I think we'll sort our giveaway, but I don't know what your thoughts are. Maybe on the socials and split it into like 2.
Yeah. Let's do that. So it's a good reason for you to follow us on the socials. You can check us out, facebook.com/the PirateCast, and Twitter, we are at PirateCast. Make sure you follow us on there. And rather than doing a competition live on the show, we'll do it via social media. Why don't we do that?
We'll figure out how we do it, whether it's first and second, or because obviously someone's going to get a t-shirt and someone isn't. So the t-shirt package will be the top prize. But yeah, we'll sort something out, and it will also involve evidence that you are subscribed with notifications on the show.
Nice. I like
Sorry,
that.
I'm a YouTube whore now, so
you've got to get these bits in.
Just going back to the league table and what Clive's put, they are similar league positions to last season. The real scrap really is for 4th, 5th, and 6th. There's some proper close points around there, and it's going to get very, very interesting towards the back end of the season.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, my concern as we get up to the end of the season is, whether or not it's going to end up as Poole versus Leicester playoff finals. You can almost see it coming. Glasgow are going to certainly be in the mix as well. They're still looking very strong. But yeah, I certainly haven't seen the last of Leicester. I think we need to be a little bit concerned about them. But again, a lot of, the track was a bit weird. A lot of our guys were sort of having difficulties, I think, with the track. There were some mechanical problems with a couple of the guys as well. Everything just kind of culminated and didn't really do us any favors. So I think if we'd have ridden that same match on, a slightly, I don't want to say better track, but a track that hadn't been sort of within the elements so much during the day, and everyone on an even keel with machinery, it would be a different story. So we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, Leicester are a worry, I think.
Yeah, and if I'm honest, they couldn't do anything better with the track. It was, they did the best they could.
Yeah.
And the riders at the end of the meeting and the interviews actually said the track was good. We were just not on our game. So the starts were a big problem.
And it did take a lot of, there was a lot of material moved regularly from the outside of the track back towards the inside. It's as Drew alluded to, there's lots of loose material around on the track at the moment.
Yeah.
And it does all bunch up towards the end, and it makes for some great racing around the outside, which is good. But and every time I think the tractor brings it all back into the inside, everyone struggles a little bit with how the track's laid out. But anyway, I'm just babbling now. Next action at Wimpole Road is it's the championship. It's Pirates versus the Gladiators, 22nd of June. That is 1 week today, 7:30. Get yourself down there. That should be a good one. Always good against Plymouth. Plymouth are currently 5th on the table, but they've only ridden 10 matches. So again, they're certainly in the hunt there.
Revolving guest at number 1 is helping Plymouth massively. I did comment on a Speedway GB post. It's about time something was done officially for that. They can't just have guests. I know there's no real number 1 available, but somebody did comment a very good option of just let them have rider replacement all season at 1, so their own riders can fulfill the rides.
Yeah,
I don't see the problem in that. Yeah. You could say it could victimize them, but they've got a strong enough team under the number 1 berth. Yeah. Ben Barker and Hans are now getting their feet under them there, and it just frustrates me that a team can have a guest every week and week out for what's it been now? 10 weeks?
Yeah, got to have been.
Ish.
Interesting.
If Paul were doing it, something would have happened. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm just saying.
Looking forward to other PirateCast episodes. I'm not going to make any announcements here, but we've already got our next guest lined up, and it is an interesting one.
I need to message them to do an introduction because obviously all the prep work for this. But yeah.
Sounds good. But yeah, we've got a very, very interesting guest.
Not a pirate.
Not a pirate. Currently, no, but he's slated to come onto the show for our next episode, hopefully, which we'll try and slot in, and we'll let you guys know. Follow on the socials. Anything else you want to get to?
No, all good, mate. Everything's been covered on ours.
Nice. So it just leaves one thing then.
No, that's it. Goodbye.
No. It just leaves one thing, which is, as always, the pirate joke. Don't take your glasses off. Don't take the.
Actually, that doesn't help. It's my ears.
That was amazing. Cover over your eyes, so you can't hear the joke.
I was doing a Chris Hemsworth in Ghostbusters.
My cat. Anyway, right. What is a pirate's favorite Bruce Willis movie?
I do know this actually because you put it on you. I don't know. What is a pirate's favorite Bruce Willis movie?
Armageddon. Love it.
I don't know what you're talking about. Terrible as always.
Yeah,
nothing
that's
like ending the show on a low.
And can you not have the whole gong thing after watching Stranger Things? That's going to give me nightmares.
It's the wrong type of gong. It
is, yeah. But there we go. Thanks everyone for tuning in to PirateCast Live.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Still didn't get it under an hour.
No, we didn't. No. Oops. But we were close. It's 3 minutes past. That's not too bad.
Not bad.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you for all the support. Come and say hi to us. When we're down at the track on Wednesday, we always appreciate people coming and saying hi. They enjoy the show. Thank you to Janet who won the Darcy Ward DVD. June. Why did I say Janet? Weird. Anyway, June. Sorry, that's me. That's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why did I? Anyway, yes, for who won the Darcy Ward DVD, went down and met her and handed over the DVD, took a picture, posted that on social media. Great to meet you guys. Want to meet more of you guys down at the track, so that'll be brilliant.
Come and say hi
as well.
Absolutely. I'm still waiting on these burger reviews. I know they're being filmed.
So 2 of them have been filmed. But I'm just waiting for next Wednesday so I can do the last one, and I'm going to.
So you're going to do it as you're not doing it as a trilogy. You're doing it as a.
It's going to be one thing because otherwise they're only going to be about sort of 30-45 seconds long. So we're going to do it as one video.
That's the attention span of young people nowadays, and that's who we need to get on board with the sport. Do a TikTok. No, don't do a TikTok. Don't.
No, I'm not doing a TikTok. But it's burger reviews. Do you really think we're going to get people on board by doing burger reviews? But anyway,
I think it's information people need to know, particularly visiting fans.
True.
We bring the information people need. That's what
PirateCast and My Cholesterol Level brings you Speedway cheeseburger reviews. So we've done 2 out of the 3 places now. Some of you may have seen me wandering around with an iPhone with Beth, filming these bits and pieces. So yes. 2 of them have been done. The 3rd one will be next Wednesday, and then I'll be in a position to make a judgment.
I did try to do a Thor and Oakenshield Photoshop today on Fair Street. I didn't have the right software, but obviously you need to do that because you bang on about it every week on Parade. Every single week.
Sorry. Richard Lawson does look like Thor and Oakenshield from The Hobbit. Sorry. I mean, it's just a fact. Anyway, with that, thank you very much for everyone for tuning in, checking us out, and interacting in the chat room. Thank you to DREW KEMP for taking the time out to speak with us this evening and interact with all of you guys. We will be back soon. Don't know exactly when, but keep your eyes on the socials and we'll tell you when. And we'll see you down at the track next Wednesday, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers, everyone. Thanks again for your questions, and thanks so much to Drew. I really didn't expect to have so many questions to field for him. So, much appreciation. And keep your eyes peeled for the official announcement about Nathan Ablett and PirateCast sponsorship. So, all good.
Absolutely. Do you know the one thing we didn't ask him about and we didn't show?
What? Oh, no!
Drew Kemp's a flyer. From the gates or coming by you, Drew Kemp's a flyer. From the gates or coming by you, Drew Kemp's a flyer. From the gates or coming by you, Drew Kemp's a flyer.
So we need to find out who this guy is. We need to ask Drew about that because I clipped it and had it ready and I completely forgot about it.
That's all he does. The rest of he just plays the rest of the song. He does 2 lines.
Madness, isn't it? Madness.
Oh,
anyway, so there we go. That'll be for part 2, for the DREW KEMP interview part 2, which we'll do in the not too distant future. But everyone, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, everyone. Take care.